But welcome everyone. Our session is being recorded, so you should have a little red circle somewhere on your screen, just letting you know. And I'm entering my 18th year in education, primarily special education and elementary, but I'm excited to start exploring science A to Z with you. So whether you've explored it before, which it sounds like some of you have, or you're brand new, you'll definitely find something that's going to support what you need throughout your school year. So for anyone who is brand new, I'm just going to share a little bit about what it is. So Science A to Z provides resources that will enable you to seamlessly combine science and literacy instruction, which is a huge time saver. You can effectively meet your standards for both science and English language arts. And the features include extensive collections. We have printable, digital, and projectable texts to help build background knowledge and vocabulary. And then you'll see there's some engaging hands-on activities and experiments that will help your students develop scientific and engineering practices. And every child in every elementary class, when you tell them it's science time, not a single one of them is like, oh no, not that again. So hopefully these resources will help you build that excitement in your classroom that may already be there. So you will find that our comprehensive resource library supports research-based practices. So we'll be able to support teacher-led instruction, small group instruction, and then independent practice as well. So you may have come here with some ideas on how you want to implement this resource to support your instruction. So we always try and bring that intention kind of to the front. So you can write in the chat if you feel like it, or you can just think on your own, but think about how you want to use this in your classroom. Do you find that you have a big need for whole group instruction? Is this something that you want to maybe create and use to pique the needs of maybe your higher skilled students, whatever it is, just think on that for a minute. If you feel brave enough, you can share your intention out loud or in the chat, and then we'll come back to that question again because we aim for you to walk away feeling confident and ready to implement Science A to Z next week in your classroom. And I should have asked Liz, do you have a formal science curriculum that this supplements, or is this what we're coming to for your classrooms?
No, we do have an adopted curriculum, yes. We also
Okay,
have integrated units that are working to integrate language arts, social studies, and science mostly.
that's amazing. So it's a
So this is a
cohesive day.
supplementary.
Yeah, that's perfect though. All right, so these are our takeaways that we're going to leave with today. By the end of the session, you will have more high quality resources to support your science instruction and literacy. You'll have options for purposeful practice with the assignments to support all your learners. And then you'll also have the knowledge of how to customize the settings in your student management area. As we are exploring today, as long as you can, you're going to hit the little plus sign at the top to log in, or it sounds like some of you are in through Clever. So if you feel like you can hear my narration and navigate your specific needs, that's probably the best way. If not, just go ahead and take notes and watch my screen, and you do whatever works best for your learning. And then the biggest thing, since we have a big group, the best ideas come from collaborating with one another. So definitely feel free to share your thoughts and the resources that you're interested in. So after you log into Science A to Z, you're going to find our main navigation is across the top, that green bar. Obviously, with Learning A to Z, I'm not going to be able to show you all of our resources, everything that Science A to Z offers today. However, at the bottom of your page, so if you're on your own screen, scroll down to the bottom where it says instructional support, circle that area or write it down on your notes just as a reminder for you to come back and visit this area after today's session. You'll see there is professional development with recorded webinars that you can access, or a video library. There's helpful ideas about getting started, getting in your student portal, as well as incentives. And then one of my favorites is the parent information piece to get that support at home. So anything that we don't get to cover, we'll answer questions at the end, but you can also explore that instructional support area at the bottom. All right, so for now, we're going to scroll back up to the top. And we're just going to begin with some general navigation. So the first thing I want to point out are your resources. So in the resources tab up at the top, you'll find all the instructional resources to support your planning for small group, individual, or whole group instruction. Okay, slide over that green bar a little bit further, you'll see the file cabinet. In the file cabinet, you can build folders to organize your instruction with your resources, and you can create personalized student assignments. And then right next to that, we have our Manage Students area. This is where you get the opportunity to customize settings for your students' experience, and you can access reports and data that will help you monitor activity and support your next steps in planning. For today, to start, we're all going to go ahead and click on resources. I'm going to zoom in a little. Somehow it got to 75. There we go. All right, so everyone go ahead and click on resources. And you'll see there's 3 main categories in the navigation. So first we have our instructional units. This is where you can access standard-based resources that assign with commonly taught science topics across all domains. Below that, we have resource types. This is where you can select from individual resources that support literacy, science content, and hands-on learning. And finally, in NGSS, you'll find storylines, phenomenal driven lesson plans, and assessments by grade band topics that will support your next generation science standards. Okay, so we'll get a chance to explore a little bit of everything. We're going to go ahead and start at the beginning. So we're going to start with our Science A to Z instructional units. So up here at the top. Now I'm going to be looking at life science. If you know you're starting with a unit, what I'm doing will be similar for all of them. So please feel free to navigate with me maybe the first time and then explore your own, or if you're comfortable, explore yours as I walk through this unit. So our units are organized into 3 grade bands and across 4 scientific domains. So we have life, earth, space, physical, and process science. All units include lessons, informational books and passages, and hands-on activities, as well as other things. So I'm going to come over to life science, and I'm going to look specifically at grades K through 2 and select animals. Again, if there's one that you prefer, you know you're starting with, it's absolutely perfect for you to click on that. Everyone should either be with me or opening up their own unit so we can explore all of the components. So all of these units contain an extensive collection of resources. So the standard resources included in all units will include nonfiction books, which will be offered at different levels of complexity. So they'll take a challenging concept and vocabulary and they really make it accessible to all of your readers. You can see like this one is labeled low for my beginning readers. And if it's a mid-level, you see the 2 circles, or if it's in a high-level text, okay? The process activities will be there to provide your students with hands-on exploration. And then we have our focus books, which offer a collection of scaffolded resources to expand knowledge of a unit topic. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here to my teacher's guide right here under the focus books. Okay, we also have that available for us under the nonfiction books. So all of those resources come with teacher guides, so it's going to support you for instruction and implementation. If you scroll down a little bit farther, whatever topic you're looking at, you're going to see supporting materials. This could include investigation packs, debates, videos, graphic organizers, and games. These are available to further develop your students' reading skills, their academic vocabulary, and of course, their scientific literacy. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top. And like I said, you guys will get a chance in just a few minutes to jump in and really explore a unit that will support your beginning of school year instruction. So for this one, if you'll just click back over, I'm going to showcase the unit guide and all of the features. So for this one, just go ahead and watch my screen. So I'm going to open up the PDF for the unit guide and just walk you through that. Make it a little bit bigger. All right, so many Science A to Z resources, again, are offered at multiple levels of text complexity. So this is built in immediately to support your students in accessing the content and to help teachers differentiate instruction. Then we have something called the Spark activity. So this includes instructional units that have that spark, that thought-provoking question designed to activate and build background knowledge about the science topic and generate that curiosity and discussion. So that hook that we're looking for. Teachers can assess vocabulary knowledge, note any unfamiliar vocabulary that they need to pre-teach. So you'll see that in the vocabulary activities. You can choose from a variety of activities to build word knowledge, but you can definitely start by assessing where they are and see what's necessary for your support. Okay, if we scroll down to the next page, I'm going to come down to our misconceptions. Many teachers also find that this section is really helpful to build background knowledge and just ensure that the students really grasp the content. So the final section of the unit guide offers teachers extensive activities where their teachers can apply their knowledge, the students can apply their knowledge and make connections across other content areas as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close mine out. So now I'm back at the unit homepage, which can be your specific one as well. So we're gonna review what's called the unit roadmap, and then we're gonna break for some exploration. Okay, so you can see the roadmap right over here. It's just at the beginning. So within each instructional unit, you can find 3 roadmaps, and they're going to offer suggested sequences for incorporating Science A to Z into your instruction. So in the Read First area, students begin by reading a text first to help them build the foundation, and then with the core science ideas, they can move on from there. In the Do First, the roadmap begins with students completing hand-on investigation that allow them to apply science and engineering practices and construct their explanation of core ideas. And then in the project base, what sounds like that might align to your units of study, the roadmap, students work in teams to investigate a science question or design a solution to an engineering challenge. So although the roadmaps present many resources in kind of a linear pathway, certain resources can be used concurrently. So you could build a learning center that has students reading the career files while you pull a small group with a practice literacy skill focus book. So all 3 models engage students in critical thinking, reading, writing, and discourse. There's lots of hands-on application to both the science and the engineering. So great options, lots of flexibility. And what we'll do now is pause so that you can actually go in, think about your first maybe month or unit of study, and take the chance to break out and work from there. So you're going to explore a unit for your first unit of school. So think about your topics. Think about your intention of how you want to use this as a supplement. And then if you can, explore the roadmap, look at the teacher guides, and really peek at those resources. All right, in the chat, or probably in the chat because there's so many and we'll end up talking over one another. Let me know, what did you explore? Either tell us the unit that you were exploring with your team. Tell us if there was a resource that you loved. I'll go into a little bit more depth about the different formats that we have in just a minute. But I'd love to hear from you while we're together and we're kind of in that nice little cushion of pre-planning before it's chaos. So in the chat, everyone should see it there. If not, I'll say hello. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so it looks like some people explored the storylines. Those are really neat. Okay, awesome. 5th grade looked at the standards. I know my 4 little 5th grade testing grades. 1st grade looked at light and sound. Amazing. Anyone else? We'll let one more person share out. Perfect. And then life science and plant life. And then, yeah, the books in Spanish. Isn't that awesome? We love when we can support our students in their native language. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing out. I appreciate it. I know Zoom rooms can be stressful sometimes. So that was amazing. So I'm going to come back to the animals resource. If you'll just take a look at my screen, again, I'm going to highlight some options and just go through some of the elements that'll really make your teaching a lot more fun for you and have the support for you and your students. So Science A to Z does come in multiple formats. So you can engage students with purposeful practice in a variety of ways. So on the animals instructional unit, you can see that many of our resources can be assigned digitally. So if you see this little planet icon or it says assign, that indicates that it's a digital option. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this in case this is anything that's new for you. So what I love at the top, if you click the assign button at the top, it's going to pull everything that's digitally assignable in one place. So if you just want to build a whole unit of study and have your students engage with them over time, you can choose that right here. So I can come through and say, okay, we really want to focus on the nonfiction books and the career files, but maybe I don't want the mystery files and the I files, and we're going to watch the videos together. So I can determine what's just right for my students and I can select or deselect the resource. Then I have the Spanish books right here. The vocabulary may or may not show up depending on your accounts. And then the constructed response quizzes, those are available for Lexile levels that are over 300. So kindergarten, first grade, you may not see that option, but second, third, and above, you'll see that. Then from here, I have the options to assign it to all of my students or the groups that I've built in. So if I pick a group, it'll immediately differentiate and split that or support that out to my students. So maybe I have a group of ELL students and I want them to see the video. I want them to look at the nonfiction books and nothing else. I can take it all off, put in the books in Spanish for them, and then I can push it out to just those students. So down at the bottom, I can come here, I can put in a start date if you want. You don't have to, it's optional. If you're like a scheduler, just know that it will not be available until that day. So if you want it immediately available, then you put in today's date or you just leave it blank. And then you can go ahead and hit assign down at the bottom. So pretty simple with assigning. In addition to the digital assignments, teachers can select from various print resources, so you can still provide your students with purposeful practice. So anywhere that you see the PDF, see it right here, that means that that's a printable resource. So you can absolutely access that. So I know one of the ones that's really popular are our trading cards. So I actually already had that open right here, so I can just show you what it looks like. So these animal trading cards, it's a process activity. You can utilize the print resource to set up 3 different learning stations. So your students can work collaboratively to learn about the diversity of animal traits and habitats. There's discussion questions built into this resource. And then we have the image cards as well. So don't get dizzy as I scroll down right here with our image cards. So that will all be included. Anything needed for this resource will be included in one single PDF. So that's a great way for you to make sure you have exactly what you need. So I'm going to close that one out. The third option is to create personalized assignments for independent practice. So I'm going to come down to our focus books this time. And I'm going to show you where you can see the little assign button right here underneath. So now I have my low books and my mid, and if there's a high book as well. So you can select which students it would be appropriate right from this landing page, and you can assign the individual resource. So it immediately builds in differentiated practice that's going to support your students' needs. Okay. Down in our supporting areas down here, I'm going to go ahead and select our science videos so I can see those. Definitely remember to consider these resources to provide your students with additional science content. This can also be accessed individually, so that's perfect as well, and they can support that independent practice and still build those literacy skills. The videos are not leveled. Nope, just the texts. but you can always preview the video to see if it's appropriate for your different levels of students. So the other option, just depending on what you prefer, you also have the ability to create folders in the file cabinet for Science A to Z. So if you want to organize a collection of resources, build knowledge on a topic, you can absolutely do that and build those assignments. So to add any resource to the file cabinet, you just come to the resource you want and you see this little plus sign. Definitely watch my screen for this one. I can hit my plus sign, and if I already have the folder I want, I can add it to a folder right here, hitting my animal unit small group, or I could create a new folder. Okay, so I can just open that. So I'm going to click new folder, and I'll just call this animals. A little. Whatever you name it though, the kids do see the name of the file. So like in your groups, you can say low group, medium group, high group, they'll never see that, but they'll see their folder. So just make sure that it's, you know, if it's your red group or your green group and they know that that's what they're called, make sure that that's appropriate for them. So I come in, I hit the folder icon right on the spot. I can do that, hit add, and then I can add my resource right to there by hitting the little, hitting that one and coming down to the bottom where it says add resource. Okay, so very simple. The black bar lets me know, okay, you just added that to your folder. So I can either add additional resources and it will have that black bar there, or I can go in and I can save and close and be done with that. But maybe I want to see what the file cabinet looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click on view in file cabinet, just so you can see that view. So you just start to think about what's going to be the best for your students with these resources. If it's something like maybe you work together as first grade and two people build the first unit together, find those perfect resources, and then as a teacher you can push those out and you can assign them. So whatever is going to support you best with those resources. So let's say that that one's done and I want to go look for maybe a graphic organizer to provide my students with some more resources. So I'm going to come down to supporting resources. I'll unclick my video and maybe I want to click on my graphic organizers. So same thing, if I see that KWL, all right, I want to add that back in. I hit the plus sign right here and I can find my folder, just click on it and hit add resource, and you're going to see that black bar pop up at the top again. So if I added anything else without hitting save and close, it would go right into that. So you could just spend a few minutes building for your low group and your medium group and your above grade level group and immediately have those ready to go whenever you want to assign them. One thing to note, so I'm going to show you this in the file cabinet. When you assign these resources through a folder, all the digital resources will be assigned at once, and any print resource like the graphic organizer would need to be printed and given to the student. It would just be there in the file cabinet. You have the same options with your actions up here where you could assign it to your students. Let me see. Right from your folders. And then you'll see down here where it says shared files. You can build this as a teacher on your license, and your whole school has the ability to share and access each other's files. So if you do collaborate, that's something that you can do. You can access someone's file and use it, but you can't edit or change it. So you don't have to worry about, you know, someone in your grade level changing their mind. They can make a copy of the folder and edit it from there, but it won't mess with your original one. Okay, so it's something that some of my teachers gravitate towards. My other teachers really like the opportunity to just kind of dive in and look at it, pick what they want, and assign it from there. So you have that option built right into whatever makes you the most successful. Okay, so for the next one, I don't think I'm going to push you back out to breakout rooms, just because that took a long time and I don't want you guys to run out of time. But we'll explore this activity, and as a group, we'll share out in the chat. So you're going to take some time now to explore that same unit, but this time go in and look at the print versus the digital options for purposeful student practice. So think about student practice. I'm going to put some guidance in the chat for you so you guys know what you're going to be looking for. I'll be here on mute. I know Liz is here as well, supporting with all of that. So definitely go through, use those icons on the toolbar and get in and let me know if you need any help along the way. We'll take about 5 minutes for this one because I want to get to the Kids A to Z portal before we leave. Okay, so 5 minutes really focusing on the print versus digital for your student practice. Any questions before you go ahead and have about 5 minutes of exploration time? All right, well, have fun and I'll be here to help you. 1 minute to wrap up your exploration. Feel free to share in the chat anything that you might have considered or a resource that you loved. Oh, we already have someone sharing out. Okay, well, everyone wraps up. I'll start to share out in case you don't have it open. But one of your teachers is loving the diagram, so that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. That's perfect. If there's any other print or digital resources that you loved, go ahead and share out. This way you have that collaboration before you get back to school. So for the next little section, I want to showcase our student platform. So definitely watch my screen for this one because I can bring up the student accounts. I'm just going to share out some of the other ones. Love the diagrams, the stories. That's perfect. And the books. Yeah, the books are really fun. And your kids are already excited about science. So now they can practice their literacy with the science. So that's a great fit. So perfect. Thank you so much for sharing out. All right, so take a peek on my screen. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like. And in my notes, so this might answer your question, your students open directly into their portal with a single sign-on. So, but I'll still find out about the seesaw. So the first time that they log in, they should not have to do what you're about to see. So this little student, if she was not Clever rostered, she would have to go ahead and type in her teacher's username the first time. Your students should come right in and see either their whole class or just themselves. So then they would put in the password, but like I said, your student should not have to do that. They should be sent directly to their platform. This is a primary platform, so kindergarten, first and second grade, it looks like this. My older students, they have just a more mature, customizable look, but they have the same access to everything. So you'll only see the planets that you have access to, so it won't be as confusing. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the science planet. So the first area I have right here is the My Assignments. This is where our students can access their digital assignments. So anything that you've assigned to them, they can navigate to the resource and it won't be in a specific order. So just know that that's right there. Otherwise, your students have folder assignments. Then they would just click on the folder and they would access their assignments that you have there. And you can also include instructions. So that's where my teachers gravitate towards the file cabinet because they can kind of organize it the way they want them to. So you have that to support your students engaging and making it differentiated. We also have Science in the News here. This is when students open up the Science in the News magazine. Each issue has really compelling articles that our kids love. And there's current events happening in science, technology, and engineering. So our students can read a new issue each month when they're released, and they can always go back to an older one as well. And then we have our science library right down here. So this offers a variety of videos, texts, and interactive resources that your students can engage with at home or practice in their small group. Okay, perfect. One thing to help build motivation is your student dashboard. You'll see it right here. So your students earn stars as they're going through and they can come back and build their avatar and their rocket ship. if you send them a message, see how this one's kind of pulsing? You can send them an audio message as well as a text message. Great way to stay connected. And they can also see their stats and how far they're going within their online work. So lots of fun that they can engage with, a very user-friendly for regardless of grade level. So one thing I'm just going to show you, the last thing, is just how you get to that customization for the student management. So I know I showed you it really briefly at the beginning, but that green navigation bar up there where it says Manage Students, this is where you can access your roster, and it looks like some of you already have. It looks like your old students are still in here. But from the general tab, you can get to your roster, your reports, your assignments, and anything that requires your input, like a constructed response, would be in your in basket. And if I go ahead and click on my roster, in case you are wondering about the messages, this is where you can come over that little speech bubble and you can send them that message. You can record your voice. This is a great way for documentation because it keeps it every single time. There'll be a whole little message train right underneath, and you can send some stars to help keep them motivated. So just a great way to acknowledge students' efforts and really keep them motivated. Okay, the other thing I want to show you in the science A to Z, if I click on that, I know, me too, Tina. I love that one. In the science roster, if you've not done this before, you can see their levels here for the icon. So you can always learn more about the levels if you have any questions. Helps you figure out which text is appropriate for your students. And it has the Lexile measures there as well. I know some of you were talking about ELL and the Spanish books. If you get the opportunity later on to come back up here, there's settings that you can click to adjust for your whole class, or right within your platform, you can adjust it for your specific student just by clicking on their name. Anything that you need help with moving forward, like building groups, rostering, whatever it may be, the guided help here button at the top, it really supports and takes you through. I call it the wizard. You ask it a question and it gives you step by step. And it's like, okay, you type in the word group and then it says, click here, click there. Great, you did it. And you don't have to remember the steps. So that's a great feature to come back to. So that's it with the navigation. We'll just go ahead and wrap up and see what questions I can answer. And there's also a resource page I wanted to let you know about that's built in for your schools. So we covered the resources, got to see a little bit about the Kids A to Z and how you can get into the navigation. I will let any questions, go ahead, start building up the chat. But I wanted to show you this and put the link in the chat for you as well. You have a new resource page specifically for your school district, and it's going to be, okay, hopefully that link will take you there. If not, I'll put it in the email. It's going to be updated monthly, and it will have a resource of the month, things that are being highlighted specific for your school district. So that's something that's brand new and just for you guys. So that's in the chat.